to be first in a series of what I call what TikTok made me do. Sometimes I just get sucked into TikTok, and I know that is not good, but I do make content on there as well. So I will have that linked below, and I will also have linked below the inspiration for this meal tonight. Now, it is not something that went viral, so it is not the feta pasta, hashtag feta pasta, no. That might be another day using some other cheese, but I am going to be making a seared Napa cabbage tonight because I pretty much have all the ingredients. The original cook, he had made a completely vegan version, and this is not going to be vegan. However, it's pretty much the same idea, and I've added a couple of little extras. Okay, so for this recipe, I'm using a small Napa cabbage, but you can use a larger one or whatever you find, that is fine. I've washed this and it's just been drying out a little bit, and I've got some kitchen twine. I will show you what you need that for. And then there's going to be a sauce that this gets topped with, and it'll be some butter. I'm going to use ginger and garlic, some miso paste, as well as mirin and tamari, and I'm going to add some cracked white pepper. So the idea here, you're going to want to cut your cabbage into steaks, but the easiest way to do this without all the leaves falling apart and separating, you're going to wrap it with some twine, and I'm going to do this probably just in 3 sections evenly. With a sharp knife, I do want to divide this into 3 pieces. I'm going to do the short end first. And then you're going to continue to wrap some twine around so that, again, it just stays in one piece as it's cooking. And if you wonder how you should do it, if you've ever wrapped Christmas gifts, which I've wrapped plenty in my lifetime, I'm going to treat it as such. Just do that. oven, and I'm going to preheat my cast iron skillet. First thing is first, I'm going to sear my cabbage, and because this pan is rather large for what I have, I'm going to put all three at the same time. And you want to get this browned. I have just rubbed a little bit of neutral oil in the pan so it won't stick. So you do want to get this seared a little bit. I'm going to turn this a couple of times, and as I turn, I'm also moving them in a different spot in the pan where it could maybe pick up some oil to get a char on it, and I'm not afraid to press down on this to also get some color. Okay, so now I'm going to put this in a preheated oven for about 5 minutes or so. And then I'm going to start my sauce. So I'm just going to melt a knob of butter. And as this melts, I will add my chopped garlic. And I added an extra clove of garlic and my ginger. So I have my garlic and my ginger in here, and I just want this to start getting fragrant, and as soon as it does, I will add a spoonful of my miso paste. I think I have either like a red miso or a white miso, but you can use whatever you would like. You do want to add your miso and get this melted in here. It's basically salty stuff. If you're not familiar, but I had bought some to use for another purpose, and I have a lot left over, so this is one way to use it up. And I'm just smashing it so it can kind of smooth into the butter. I'm also going to add a bit of tamari and lower my heat and a splash of mirin. I'm going to also add some water. Until it becomes a saucy consistency. So I'm just going to continue to cook this and work this until it becomes nice and smooth. I've also ground some white pepper in here. White pepper is more commonly used in Asian cooking. If you can't find it, you could just use black pepper, but a lot of Asian markets will have this. Here's my cabbage out of the oven. I can tell by touching it that it is cooked to the point where it's crisp but still tender. So I'm going to remove the strings and plate it up. Okay, so first off, you're gonna cut this off. And you're gonna open up the leaves quite a bit. Or you can let them fall as they may. Like so. And then you're gonna take your sauce or your dressing, however you'd like to call it, and just drizzle this over. You can reduce it even further so that it's thicker, but this is fine. And then I'm gonna just top this with some sesame seeds, but if you have some scallion, that would be a nice addition as well. So here is our seared Napa cabbage with a miso dressing and sesame seeds. So I actually meant to make this a while ago, and I bought cabbage on several occasions thinking I'm gonna make it. It never happened. I did something else with it, but I did really want to make this because number one, it looked really good and it's really easy to make. It doesn't take too much time. And sometimes if I want something meatless, this I think would be a pretty good one. So for the final verdict, I like it. And you would think it's overly salted, but it's not, because there is no salt on the vegetable itself. It was just seared and then baked in the oven. So this is probably going to be a repeat if I just have to make something for myself, but this is really good. Or if you want it as a side dish to chicken, fish, shrimp, what have you, definitely try this one out. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I will have linked down below the inspiration for this version, and if you would like to follow that person on TikTok, go ahead and do so. Please remember to like and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you all next time.